here. And it is Baba's extreme blessings that a person of his caliber, his devotion, and his abilities is here to address us. We are indeed very fortunate to have you with us, Mr. Captain Sharma, and we love you dearly. This love for Mr. Captain Sharma has sort of blossomed for past 12 years when I had the good fortune of introducing to the Mothers group in Surrey. And after he spoke for a length of time, when he was leaving, I was so impressed with his account of Swami and his contact with Swami and his explanations of the divinity that I knew that I am looking at a man who is self-realized. But I needed evidence to know that. And when Mr. Sharma was leaving, I told Mr. Sharma, "You are so sweet. Why don't you leave a piece of yourself behind?" And instantly he said, "You are all my pieces." Then I knew that I found the gold mine that I needed. Mr. Sharma is a very competent pilot. He has had more than 30 years of flying aeroplanes, which you don't know how to do. I mean, he knows what to do with that. Besides that, Mr. Sharma is an accomplished author. We did not know that he could write a book in those days, but he did write an excellent book, a very successful writing, and the book is called Baba My Pilot. Now, I'm going to advertise that book a bit. If you go to the bookshops here, a book of that status, you probably pay $120 to $150 to get a book like that. But Mr. Sharma is selling the book only for $20, which is cost to cost. 15. 15 now? Oh, we got a discount. Oh, there we are. So we got a discount, $5 now. But don't tell this to Ned. He's charging $25. So the book is so good that Mr. Sharma has explained himself in great length in that book and in great detail as well. But that book is also like a reference book. It is full of spirituality and it is so rich that it doesn't matter which page you turn to read, you'll find only wisdom in it. And it is full of beautiful pictures in it too. Now, that, if you look at the book, then you will understand what is Mr. Sharma's devotion for God. Baba says that there are 3 things that you must do, which is perfect. So that's what you have to do to become perfectly satisfied. For example, he said, the greatest adventure that you should take is the adventure to seek God, to look for Him. And no, there's no other greater adventure than that. Then he said, the greatest romance in your life is love for God. And then he said, the greatest achievement that you can have in your life is God realization, self-realization. If you read that book, you'll find that Mr. Sharma has achieved every one of those. And I think he deserves a clap for that. Time is short. I'm not going to take too much time. When he speaks, the introduction will be in his words itself. So ladies and gentlemen, I have great pleasure in presenting to you Captain Sharma. And I'm not quite finished yet. There's Mrs. Sharma here too. Most welcome to you, Mrs. Prem Sharma. And she is like, you know, this stick is my support. Ms. Sharma is the walking stick for Mr. Sharma. Yes. Thank you.
Pranams at the lotus feet of our dear Lord Mother, dear Lord Swami, dear brothers and sisters, Sai Ram. Sai Ram. So happy to be here again. Wherever the glories of God, our Son. God, our dear Lord, Swami, is always present. And His presence can be felt as peace and love in your heart. That is His presence. I'm very much, remember those 3 lines which he sang. Prema, what did he say? Anand, Daini, Ma, or Dusra was Hirday Viharani Ma, and third is Prashanti Nivasani Ma. These are the 3 places, 3 forms of our dear Lord Sathya Sai Baba. That He is indeed in the hearts of all. That's what he says. Hirday Vasi, He is the indweller of each one of us. Second thing is He, of course, He lives in Puttaparthi also. He came for our sake, for your sake, as a human, in the human form, for us to elevate us to His real form. And here, His real form is the one, the all-pervading each and every heart, everywhere the Lord's presence is there. The first time we met Swami was in 1973. It was His grace that He made me a pilot. And that was His greatest grace, because on board the flight, He gave me lots of experiences which I would not have got even after reading all the Vedas, Upanishads, Gitas and other things. His way of teaching is so practical, so simple that I have not seen such examples anywhere else in the scriptures. The first time I met him was in 1973. I was asked to fly a plane, a charter flight to Amritsar. So we went to the airport, and Sai Baba was sitting in a hall, small hall. He was seated on a chair. I was in my uniform with my cap. So I asked, where is Sai Baba seated? They say he's seated in the VIP hall. So I went into the hall, took my cap off, and I, with folded hands, I approached him. And I approached him, he looked straight into my eyes, and my eyes froze in his look. His divine look is so pleasing, so nectar giving, so joy giving, filling your heart with happiness, and it descends in your heart through your eyes and fulfills you completely, and it makes you so divinely happy that you lose your own presence, your own awareness. Only joy is there, only the bliss is there. Now, how do you feel? You feel like a drop of water touching the ocean. We are the drop of water, and He's the ocean. Ocean of what? Ocean of peace, ocean of love. So the drop of water, when it touches the ocean, becomes the ocean. It loses its identity. The drop of water doesn't remain as separate as a drop. It loses its identity and becomes the ocean. That is His infinite grace. And this is what has all the incarnations doing, right from the times we remember of Rama times, the same thing. Sai Krishna time, the same thing. Sai Krishna